Hello, excuse me. Hello, Living as a Disciple students. Welcome back from spring break. I know you were all waiting with bated breath for this next Edpuzzle video that you missed it over spring break. So let's get started. This is actually my second time filming this video because the first time, halfway through, they decided that the camera would stop working. So it's just me talking with a blank camera in the background. So hopefully that's not working. Hopefully it works this time. Today we're talking about economic justice, lab 3, day 2, homework. So we're going to start this lab by looking at this pastoral letter entitled Economic Justice for All, which is written by the U.S. bishops in 1986. The purpose of this letter was to apply Catholic social teaching themes to the U.S. economy and to reflect on what the Christian's call is in the midst of a complicated economy. This was not meant to provide an economic blueprint. So the bishops, what I say by that is bishops don't say, this is how much you go to welfare and this is how much you should give to the poor and this is what minimum wage should be. They don't provide a blueprint, right, to say this is how you build the economy, but they provide a moral vision. They present a moral vision of an economy in which every person is treated with dignity, in which the worth of every person is upheld. And so what they do in this letter is they identify principles that should guide how we as Catholics, we as Christians think about the economy. Basically say the economy is, we cannot separate morality from the economy, that the two are intertwined together. So I'd like you to read this excerpt from Economic Justice for All, in which the bishops basically say why they wrote this. And they bring up some questions to reflect on. So go ahead and read this and then be ready to answer a question about it. All right, so as I said on that first slide, they presented a number of themes called the Catholic Framework for Economic Life, which should guide the Christians' thoughts on the economy. So we are going to go through these. That's what the next 3 slides is. So the first one is quite simple. We talked about this before, and it's that the economy exists for the person, not the person for the economy. Businesses, economy, corporations are all meant to serve our needs. It's about serving people, not about people serving those things. We're not just small cogs in a machine. We are people are what is behind the economy. Secondly, they say that oh, goodness gracious, look at me. Sorry about that. Secondly, they say that economic life should be shaped by moral principles and contribute to the common good. So you cannot separate morality from economy, but the decisions we make have moral consequences. And that economics, almost more than anything else, can contribute to or take away from the common good. And again, number 3, this is one we've talked about before, but that we should measure an economy by how the poor and vulnerable are faring, not by the gross domestic product, not by how much profit the biggest companies are making, but how the most vulnerable in our society are doing. All right, number 4, the bishops basically said all people have certain basic rights, right to life, to food, to clothing, to shelter, to education, healthcare, safety, and to economic security. Those are basic rights. The very fact that we're human means that we deserve these things. Number 5, all people have a right to work, to just wages, so fair payment, and benefits, to good working conditions, and to organize and join unions. So as workers, again, it's about people. And these are the things that uphold the dignity of each person: fair payment, safe working conditions, benefits, so that we can provide for our families. Number 6, oh, my chair almost just broke. Number 6 is interesting. I guess I need to lay off the sweets. Number 6 is interesting, that all people, if able, have actually a duty and a responsibility to work. There's something about work that it allows us to create. It allows us to contribute to society, to contribute to that common good, to contribute to provide for our families. There's something about work that there's a responsibility that we have to give back and to serve other people through the economy. All right, final slide here. Number 7, society has a moral obligation, which could include government action to assure opportunity to meet human needs and to pursue justice. So basically what this means is, let's think about, certain, for example, in the US, there's not paid maternity leave, but there is mandated maternity leave, right? To assure that human needs are being met. And many would argue that human needs aren't being met, but that the government has a responsibility to intervene in the economy, whether that's society, whether that's a different group, has an obligation, a moral obligation to intervene if human needs aren't being met. So maybe this is laws about certain working conditions or certain working hours. Maybe this is laws about minimum wage. Maybe this is laws about maternity leave. That in order to pursue and assure that justice occurs, that society and the government have a moral obligation to basically interfere with the economy. Number 8, this is my favorite one. The economy is intertwined with morality. Right? You can't separate the two of them apart. Workers, owners, managers, stockholders, and consumers are moral agents. The decisions we make have real human consequences. So if a worker basically slacks off work, doesn't do as much as they are supposed to, that impacts humans, that impacts people. That has moral consequences. If owners and managers don't treat their workers with respect, they cut corners, if they cut costs, they don't provide the right benefits, that has moral consequences. If a stockholder invests in a company or a consumer buys from a company, for example, like we talked about in class, that uses lots of sweatshops, that has moral consequences. They are, in a sense, supporting that system that does not uphold the dignity of other people. So the decisions we make have real human consequences. And again, this is the whole idea of this letter, Economic Justice for All. It's humans who are behind economy, and it's humans that are impacted by economy, which is why we can't separate it from morality. All right, hopefully we'll see. But I think it worked. So I think the camera stayed on the whole time. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Look forward to discussing this with you in class.